The professor, Stan, is on the scene with how this one ended up. Stan?
Thanks, David. Hey, the stakes just don't get any higher than this. Both of these teams came into the night with a fighting chance at winning the district, and let me tell you, they both left it all on the field tonight.
So last night, when asked about the LSU head coaching vacancy, Lincoln Riley said, quote, "I'm not going to be the next coach at LSU." Well, he was being honest because Riley decided to leave Oklahoma for the open USC job today.
Well, through the first 3 quarters of this ball game, it absolutely lived up to the billing. Number 1 versus number 2. They went tick for tack the whole way, tied at 35 heading into the 4th quarter. However, a couple of long touchdown runs and turnovers forced by Franklin really did gunner in. Since their setback at the hands of Lovejoy, Denison has rattled off 3 straight victories, but nothing's going to come easy tonight as they take on one of the top 10 teams in 5A Division II. With Ardmore coming off such an emotional victory last week, the only way they could possibly follow that up is to play Bishop McGuinness, a team that has been in 4 of the last 5 state title games. And earlier in the week, you told us this team has a lot of grit. What does the word grit mean to you, and how is that going to carry over into tonight against this team?
Well, you know, grit to us is the number one factor to success in life.
Coach, what was the message this week to your team in practice, and how do you think they responded to the setback last week?
Well, we got to go play better this week.
Strickland this time finds Tristan Dick. He throws it down one-handed that time. And later on, Jason Jones Jr., say that 5 times fast, fades away from the low block, gets the tough basket to go. Check out this play. Man on for Colton Buckner. He launches this one to center field. You can kiss this one goodbye, and the outfielder pays for it. Ooh, crashes into the wall. That's when your teammates are supposed to communicate with you.
Well, tonight marks the final night of the regular season in high school football, and it is crowded at the top in 3A District 2 in Oklahoma between Plainview, Sulphur, and Lone Grove. They're all 3 tied up at the top. Stan Smith tries to make sense of it all with what should be a wild Friday night.
Class is now in session, so take out your notes. We have Lone Grove, Sulphur, and Plainview all tied at 5-1 in district play, but there are some tie-breaking procedures in place to help determine the district champion.
Let's start with the Longhorns. Their only district loss on the season was to Kingston. Other than that game, they have been perfect in district play, which included a thrilling win over Plainview in the 5-mile feud. For them to win the district, all they need to do is beat Sulphur on Friday night. That's easier said than done.
I mean, we control our own destiny. We went out. I think that puts us head-to-head with any other one loss for right now.
Next up, we have those Sulphur Bulldogs who suffered their first district setback of the season last week at the hands of the Plainview Indians. For them to win district, they must beat Lone Grove, but they need to pull for the Pauls Valley Panthers to beat Plainview because the Indians own the tiebreaker over the Bulldogs.
We can't help what goes on another field, and we better go play. We better go play better than we did last week. Although Plainview's extremely good and played extremely well, we got to go play the best game we played all year.
And that finally brings us to Plainview. They don't control their own destiny either, even if they do beat Pauls Valley. So they will be cheering for the Bulldogs to knock off their rival Longhorns. In short, for each team to win this district, Lone Grove just needs to beat Sulphur. Sulphur needs to win and Plainview to lose, and Plainview needs to win and Sulphur beat Lone Grove.
That ought to wrap things up. I hope you were paying attention, especially if you were one of the teams that I was talking about, and we'll see you Friday night.
And it's just like he was there with us every time we carried the baton.
The forerunners of the Durant boys 4x800 meter relay team say their teammate Caleb Foster liked to cut up.
Went to Carl Albert for a cross country meet, and Caleb was running the JV race, and he had something in his mouth. He's blowing a duck call.
He always went out really fast. That's the most Caleb Foster thing I can think of, is him going out super fast.
At the same time, he was a fierce competitor. Not only was he on the Lions 4x8 team that finished 11th in the 2019 state track meet, Caleb placed in the top 10 in the state of Oklahoma in the 110-meter hurdles.
I go out here to run on the track, and Caleb's already out here practicing on his own. It's just fun to watch him because just giving everything he got.
But last May, tragedy struck when Caleb, along with Jack Sarver, Hunter Ford and Fernando Flores were killed in a car crash when their car was hit by a drunk driver.
It hit me like a train. It's something you never expect to hear and never want to hear.
Nearly a year after his death, Caleb's teammates chose to honor him in a unique way. Senior Alfonso Barraza kept Caleb's old baton in his running bag and decided to use it in their track meets.
It was just kind of like personal, something that I want to keep myself. But, I thought I was selfish because I wasn't the one. I wasn't just the one who lost a friend. Like, it was everybody.
The baton became a good luck charm.
If he was here, he'd give it his all. And so that's what I tried to do.
Just having that as an extra boost, knowing what we're there for.
They also added a personal touch.
I put the KF before regionals and state, and it was like all about Caleb at that point.
And during the last meet of the season, they had their eyes set on something bigger than the state title.
5 minutes before we got on the line, I told the dudes, I was like, I remember who we're running for.
The four capped off a storybook season, earning the top place on the podium.
I cheer up, they cheer up. It was like, yo, we did this for Caleb.
It was too good to be true type of thing.
In the end, you can say the Durant boys' 5x8 team were the best in the state.
And so I kind of feel like us being able to go out there and win the 4x8 is kind of making up for what he would have won.